The very cunning will say that I didn't take provision for the prospect that the very dim will hear this tape and grossly interrogate it into a false light because certain formalities weren't observed. By which I mean building a context and sense of proportion. The cunning and the dim are two faces of the same team in that regard. Because obviously, in a system of checks and balances, the psychotic are not in domain. They can't just go ballistic over what they infer to be divining sign innuendos. Yet we have seen time and again that the new order seek opportunities to wreak mayhem. So I will build a certain cautionary schemata around my use of initials. That's a point of departure for a topic. What I call Arnie Sacnusums, because AS was a symbol for Arnie Sacnusum and Journey to the Center of the Earth. And the people who pursued him knew that AS stood for Arnie Sacnusum. The USA, of course, doesn't mean you saved Adolf, although some seem to have taken it for that. So when you look at the book A Day in the Life of President Kennedy, and on the back the picture of Jim Bishop with his wife meeting with Kennedy and bragging that they were the last to meet with him while he was still alive. Take off the book cover, and the hardcover itself is initial JB. We know from Mercy in Pittsburgh that Obama and Biden used JB as the signifier of an actor in touch with Stuart Shepard, who notified Sean Brooks immediately when Robert Fripp wrote to me so that all of them could get together and huddle, that the queer bait didn't realize that King Crimson was behind the near lethal attacks visited on him in childhood. Now, the reason I go about it by this method of enclosing the subject matter with schemata of probabilities and uncertainties is that I want you to see that while I consider it credible, I don't consider it conclusive. At the same time, there are things that are very conclusive. And what the opposition likes to do is to create brain fog by saying that because you discuss something relevant that is inconclusive, that everything you say is inconclusive. And this use of malicious brain fog is terribly important to what Trumpy Toon and Joe Biden together have accomplished in creating this new order where the Axis USA is coming to save the earth. I would rest my case that it's patently criminally insane, only these people pushed it to a prisoner's dilemma by choking the earth to the point where we had to cut back and we're in this prison dilemma if you want to survive. Vaccines are like a gun to our head. You know what we're capable of. Now pay attention. What Trumpy-Toon and Biden succeeded in doing with the help of Warhol and Yoko Ono was get both sides in their pockets. I don't mean to underestimate the misfortune of victims of AIDS, but these people interfered with attempts to get early warning out and to investigate. And the fact that they played the fiddle to the loyalties of the victims is a result of the Sabine capture of by the Beatles of the minds and souls of the West after they assassinated Kennedy. These men are evil. They're nothing else. I'm certainly not going to let anybody tell me there's anything else. And Seattle gloats in deviant ways. They're pickpockets of integrity itself. And they have terribly warped priorities. The murder of Cersei Kennedy to them is just nothing. I will never allow anyone to tell me that it's nothing, because the United States of America means something to me. I understand what our forces went through in World War II. And I understand the great era of victory that was compromised and ended by the assassination in Dealey Plaza. I'm not fooled that this country has always been pure and good. But there's no way to turn back the clock on where we are. Make America Great Again has to accept that we've always had ups and downs. We're just part of the world. And these harebrained schemes to scare us into line with the Axis in the name of saving the planet aren't going to do it. What's going to do it is a material investment in people who care about public education and who care about public health. That's the only thing that's going to do it. No great names are going to do it. No maniacal scientific experiments are going to do it. Nothing is going to do it but steady reform of our educational processes. What we're dealing with is criminally insane. I have talked to people in the unions in Biden's encampment for years and years and years about ecology. Not only did I not know that King Crimson was behind the attacks, but I actually thought that they could be brought into an enlightened focus and approach them personally about Buckminster Fuller. Instead, they had anticipated that and set it up with this removal sabotage, this incredible variation and renewal, which is, the episodings of the equity scythe over black issues. No issue is relevant except that we've been attacked with weapons that are a violation of international law. We have no right to stand for it. We have to investigate. And instead of doing that, they've been playing this obscene ego-political game. You look around my house, I live below the poverty line. It doesn't mean I wouldn't like to be a millionaire, but the fact is, I live below the poverty line. I have nothing to win, nothing to lose, nothing really to take from me. There are some books here, but these petty people simply want to take and take and take because that's their whole principle. Rather than investigate, they lie and cover for what happened. There's no point in trying to explain that. It's criminally insane. That's all it is. It's nothing else. These people call themselves street scholars and they close the schools. They talk about the Elders Project to the ancestors in Africa, and then they massacre our grannies. For heaven's sake. For heaven's sakes. And many of these people are elderly black people. How can you say Black Lives Matters with a straight face when you run into the streets for super spreaders events that kill the elderly? The elderly need help. They're fragile. Don't try to explain to me what cannot be explained, because it's just celebrity media hypnosis. It doesn't make any sense on any rational level. But the dim have merged with the cunning, and they syncopate it to things that they see as Jungian psychology and, the Buddha of the effervescent popular culture, who knows the inner yearnings of the youth and so forth. I mean, it's Svengaliism. And this JB comes in with its amulet and says, we're going to make well. We're going to make well. Well, do it already, you stupid motherfucker. Do something constructive.